Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Krista Taylor. I am a team leader with Vox Life. My co-host and dear friend is Mr. Kevin Duguay. He is a practitioner with Vox Life. He's actually the first person that joined this mission. The inventor's name is Jay Dollywall, and this man is on a mission to help 1 billion people. Many of the people here are already customers of Vox Life. Some are wholesale customers, some are business leaders with Vox Life, but everybody here has invited friends and family to come and learn about what we do, because this company is only 5 years old and we've already helped 7 million people. Now, the reason that happens is because when people get impacted significantly on their overall health and wellness, they tell everybody they know. Right? When your quality of life improves, it's human nature to share that information with others. So that's why Kevin and I come together and bring you these stories. You're going to hear 2 stories tonight, 3 really, because there's a mother-daughter story that go hand in hand. And our dear friend Carla Archer is also here to share a totally different perspective on this wearable neurotech. The company is called Vox Life. So if you're coming to learn about this for the first time, or if you're a customer and you're curious, you want to dig in a little bit more, sit back and relax. We're going to be here for about 30 minutes. Kevin is going to start us off with a snapshot of the products that we have available and what they do. Of course, in 5 minutes, he's not going to be able to explain wearable neurotech. 4 minutes.
Going down.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 4-minute one.
I love it. But the person who invited you here has access to all the science behind it. So if you want to take a deep dive into this, you definitely can. Don't hesitate to ask the person who invited you. There's lots of information and studies behind this that we are happy to share with you. But I asked Kevin to come and give a snapshot so you have an idea before we hear our stories. And after Kevin, then we're going to hear from Amy. Give me a thumbs up, Amy. You're good. All right. And Sheri is there, and then we're going to hear Carla after that. So thanks everybody for being here. Kev, take it away.
All right, so thanks, Krista. So the reason we're here is not for me, not for Krista, it's for the people we're going to hear from, because it's the stories that are powerful, folks. So I'm going to be very, very brief. So in a snapshot, this is what we do. I'm going to show you 6 items. Okay, so Vox Life, we're a solutions-based neurotechnology company. What we do in English is we optimize how your brain functions. In other words, we help certain networks work better. When they work better, when we optimize your neurology, we optimize the function of your body, because your nervous system runs every system in the body. So I'm going to show you 6 different technologies. Think of it as working on optimizing 6 different rooms in your house. Okay, so I'm going to keep it very simple. So the first one, I'm going to show you this on the saw because it's easier. You can see this pattern right here. Okay, so this pattern works through touch. This is called HPT. I'm going to give you lots of little nicknames here. HPT stands for Human Performance Technology. It works on a part of your brain called the brainstem. We work through touch, folks. So there's no chemicals, there's no drugs, there's no pills, there's no side effects, there's no surgeries. It's non-invasive and it's cost effective, and it's very simple because you just have to wear it. So what happens is there's 6 different patterns that when it touches the nerve endings on your skin, different receptors, there's a response picked up by the nervous system. Where is it processed? In your brain. And it affects the brain, which now affects the body. That's all it does. Okay, so it's using touch. So this one is the brainstem. The brainstem is responsible for balance, power, stability, stamina, speed, endurance, posture, respiratory function, pain management, optimizing your brain with their studies. 36%. That's all you need to know. But it's also in a patch. You can see this etching right here. Okay, so think of it as a pattern. Think of it as a code. Works with the nervous system. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm wearing the latest version on my arm. It's called CBT. This is an older version. There's the pattern that you can see it. Everybody's putting their hand up. Everyone's got the right answer in class. Everybody's got their arm up. Smart students on this call. And this stands for CBT, or Cognitive Boost Technology. It's optimizing the cognitive networks of the brain. So this is the part of the brain that's a function for memory, focus, calmness, clarity, anxiety. Our brain mapping studies, the data says this, on average, 41% improvement in brain function. You're going to hear about this with one of the people on the call tonight. That's number 2. Number 3, it's called Neurovax. It's a different color. It's a different pattern. It's a different etching. It optimizes your immune system. So it stands for neuroplastic immune optimization. Okay, so it's using touch, receptors, optimizes your immune system. So we use this, it's optimizing the physiology of the blood. Okay, HPT optimizes the physiology of the brain. Okay, so very important networks in the body. Number 4, for those of you who have some sleep challenges, it's called the REM patch. Same color, different pattern. It's another etching. You just put it on your upper arm when you go to bed, 20 minutes before you go to sleep. Optimizes the sleep networks in your brain. So deep sleep and REM sleep are critical for 3 functions, folks: repair, regeneration, and rebuilding. So if you're not sleeping through the night and you're not dreaming, you have some sleep challenges. You may want to look at that. It's called the REM patch. That's number 4. Number 5 is the meta patch. Okay, stands for neurohaptic advanced metabolism. You can see the pattern. I wear this in my hip, and it's optimizing your metabolism without increasing your heart rate. So you're actually able to burn more calories without increasing your heart rate. That's number 5. And the last one is called a boomy sock, number 6. You can see it's a different pattern on the sock. It's called elevated mind technology, or EMT. It optimizes the limbic system, so your areas of the brain involved with happiness, joy, those networks. So we have 6 different techs. You can wear all 6 at the same time if you want. Typically during the day, I wear 4 of these during the day. See, I wear HPT, CBT, Neurovax, and MetaPatch during the day. Why? Because the nervous system is everything for your body. And you're going to hear stories now of why these people, how the technology has helped them. And I call it 3 words, folks: quality of life. So I'm done. Krista, back to you.
Ta-da. Thanks, Kev. That was a
We
great
got
stuff.
celebrities on the call here, so
We do have celebrities on the call.
I'm like Ed McMahon, Johnny Carson. So get the celebrities on.
Awesome. Oh yes, here we go. This is, I had an opportunity to talk to our celebrities earlier today, and I got to tell you, it's pretty special.
Yes.
Sheri, are you there, my friend?
We are here.
There they are. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
How are you doing now?
I'm doing good right now.
Good. Did you have a nice evening?
Mhm.
Good. So, Amy, that was my friend Kevin. Remember, I told you Kevin was going to tell us how it works, what the products are.
Yeah.
So now, what about you? What products do you use that are Vox Life?
I use the socks, the sleeves, and the patches.
Aha.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes boomy socks.
Sometimes boomy socks. Nice. And which socks are you wearing right now?
I'm wearing the Vox socks.
Excellent. Excellent. What color?
Black.
Ah, I'm still wearing my gray ones. So, Amy,
Yeah.
what do you notice when you wear your socks?
I feel a lot better.
Mm-hmm. What was it like before you had them?
It was just a whole bunch of anger.
That's not easy, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about, do you wear a sleeve? You said you wear a
Yeah.
sleeve? Yeah, nice. I think your matches with Kevin, actually.
We're twins.
You're twins. And when you wear why do you wear the sleeve? Why do you put the sleeve on?
Because it helps me focus.
Tell me more about that.
It helps me focus on school, because I remember homeschool back in 2020, like the beginning of the school year. During like the first few weeks, I want to say 3 or 4, I could not focus.
That's fair. And so what happened? So did your mom come home with this, or how did you find it? How did you try it?
So Mom, how do you find it?
You can tell Krista. You told her this afternoon.
So basically, my mom discovered this because my behavior has gone off the wall during school.
Yeah.
And basically, one day she found these socks and sleeves and patches. And basically, she made me wear them.
Yeah.
And she told me, see how it works.
See how it works. Your mom's pretty good at finding tools for you, isn't she?
Yes.
Yes.
Originally, it was pills.
Right. And then she came home with this. And did you just put it right on, or what did you think?
Mom didn't tell me before she got it. She got it. She put it on after when I got it.
Right. Stuff was happening, right? You were having a kind of a stressful day.
Yeah.
And so tell me about that. You were feeling stressed. That was not going so well. And then
Yeah.
your mom, what happened?
She put the socks on me during that
Episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You call it episodes.
that's fair. That's a good word. And what happened? You were
I
telling
calmed
me
down in 3 minutes.
in 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, you went from not okay to calm down.
More of I went from monster to angel.
Isn't that nice? And that's every teenage mom's dream. Every teenage mom wants that, my love. And I heard we were talking earlier, you were saying that you even had the presence of mind to apologize to your mom after. Is that,
Yeah.
remember that? Yeah, that's pretty big, eh?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you went from monster to angel in 3 minutes, how long would it normally take you to go from monster to angel?
I said hours.
Hours.
Yeah.
So do you like how you feel now?
Yeah, I feel much better.
So what's your favorite class in school?
So far I'm doing like a quadmester
Yeah.
where it's you take 2 classes a day.
Okay. So what's your favorite class?
I'm right now I'm taking personal life skills and language.
Yeah. And has the technology helped you be better enjoying the classes that you love to enjoy?
Yeah.
Good.
But personally, my favorite subjects are math and geography.
There you go. That's
Nice.
all right.
I like
It's
those
good to
two.
have a favorite subject. It's good to have a favorite subject.
And Amy, you were telling me today, so you were doing homeschool for 2 years, is that right?
I think it was like 1.5.
Okay. And it was
Lasted from December of 2019 to June of 2021.
okay. And that started because you were having a hard time at school, right? Was not
Yes.
not going so well, was difficult. And now you've gone back to in-person school for grade 9, high school, start high school, right?
Mainly because I want to experience what high school was like.
Good for you, honey.
Great.
Good for you.
Awesome.
It's pretty exciting. So Amy, so somebody's listening to this. I told you today, I have lots of friends who have kids that have challenges paying attention in school, and some have same, like you're talking about, emotion challenges, handling anger and emotion. Sometimes if I'm going to talk to those parents, and I'm going to say, my friend Sheri found this tool for her daughter Amy, and Amy says that your kids should, what should their kids do? What do you think?
I think their kids should be happy about it because it will make them calm down more.
Very good.
I think the teachers would be happier too. I think they would be just as happy, Amy. You know that? Because I've had some teachers. I'll tell you a funny story, Amy. We had a teacher that had a student that calmed down just like you. And she went to one of our teammates of the parent of the child that calmed down, that went from monster to angel. I love that analogy, by the way. I'm going to use that. And the teacher said, I need like 20 pairs of these socks in my desk because I need to put these on every single kid when they show up to class, because if I have all these students that can't focus, it made it really difficult for her to teach. And now if they could all focus, how do you think the teacher would feel?
Very happy.
There you go. See, so everybody wins. So I love the fact that your mom's a happy teacher and your teachers at high school are going to be happy, and you're going to get to go do something that you thought you couldn't do before, which is go to high school. And now you go to high school, enjoy all that. So so I can't wait to hear your stories as you go through high school
Mhm.
and see what you do. That's going to be pretty cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Amy, thank you so much for coming to talk to us today. You know, it's really important. We talked about how you talking about how it helps you would help other people, right? So it's really great. We really appreciate you coming
Thank you.
today. Thank you. So I want to ask your mom a couple of questions because
Oh, no.
I'm a mom, and I told you my daughter's in high school, just starting high school too. And, you know, and also for those watching, Amy has a younger brother who still does, you know, the tech is not a cure,
Actually,
right?
it's not younger, it's
Oh, he's
older.
your older brother. So but he still teases you, right? The tech is not a cure for sibling rivalry.
He still like annoys me.
Right. So mom, how do you feel with this?
My stress level went from out the roof to like little or none. Now she completed her first week of school, and I did not get a call to go and pick her up. Prior to me pulling her from school a couple of years back, she would be in school for about 5 minutes, and the school would call me and say, you need to come pick her up. She's throwing desks, she's slamming doors, she's doing everything imaginable. And when she started high school, the first day that she was there, I was on edge. I was on the edge of my seat the whole day, waiting for that phone call to say, come and pick her up. And I got a phone call, but it was like, everything is good. Go out and have a coffee and relax. And I was like, what's wrong? That was my first words out of my mouth when I answered the phone. Hello, what's wrong? But they said, no, everything is great. And everything has been going well in school so far. And I put it down to Amy being able to use the tools that are in her very expensive toolbox, because now her mind is calmer, and she can, I guess, being calmer, she can pull some of those tools from her toolbox and use them, and, you know, put them into practice when she's in a situation that she needs to use them.
Well, we were talking about, right, the just having the presence of mind without all that extra stress and anger emotion to use the tool. So it's worth noting, if you don't know Sheri, that Sheri is a registered nurse. So keep that perspective in mind. I mean, she knew what she was looking for. She had the network to search for tools, effective tools for her daughter. And she did, as she says, the toolbox is extensive. But this was the tipping point. That's what I've gathered. This was the.
Yeah, I sort of had exhausted everything that I could ever imagine to pull to help Amy. We had been to psychologists, we had been to behavioral therapists, we had been all over the globe. I pulled a couple of, favors from people in my network. We used every resource that we could use, and we were at our breaking point, and I did not know what to do next. And I was like, where do I go from here? I need to help my kid, and how am I going to help her? And I didn't have anything else to help her because I had already used everything, and there was nothing left. And someone introduced us to Vox Life, and I tell you, I was sold as soon as I saw her calm down within that 3 minutes. And it was just like, wow, I've got to try this stuff and get it on me, because I need to see what it actually does and how she feels when she has it on. Because she was like, it was amazing, absolutely amazing to see a child go from like rage to hugging me and saying, Mom, I'm sorry.
That's big, eh?
Yeah, huge. And now the teachers are saying, she's even asking, can I have a break? Can I have quiet time? So she's now using her words to ask for things, where in school she would just get frustrated and she would throw a desk, or, but now she's using those words where she never did before.
And just to point out, like, from my mom mind, she's an adolescent right now. Like this, you would think would be a harder time actually than years ago, right? You would think, I mean, with hormones and everything, that this would be harder, but Amy, you're in so much control. We were talking earlier that this is a tool, like right? Vox Life is not the wearable neurotech it's not a cure, it's not a silver bullet, nothing like that. It's a tool, but I am so impressed with Amy for using the tool, gaining the benefits, and then she's advocating for herself in school. As Sheri just said, she talked to me today about how she's, talking about to her teachers about needing breaks, doing all the things so that the rage doesn't come. And I'm just so impressed. And Sheri, we talked about this afternoon too. From a mom's point of view, you just keep going, right? Like you were exhausted. Everything was, all options had been exhausted. But I mean, we were saying that when you were looking when she was younger, Vox Life wasn't even on the market yet. So, so lots of people that have been told there is no chance, there's nothing else, there's no other options, give this a try, because who knows?
I always had hope, and my hope came through for me, because you don't give up. You want the best for your child, and you hate to see them go through what they're going through, and it just breaks your heart. And then when I found this, it was like, wow, my heart was smiling. It was just like, wow, I can't believe this.
So what's it like now to have your kid come home from school at the end of the day?
Oh, she just gives me the biggest hug, and Mom, I had a great day at school. And I'm like, yes, I had a great day too, because I didn't get a call to pick you up.
Right? It's a big deal. It's a big deal from
Huge.
both sides, both sides.
Yes.
Yeah. Ladies, thank you so much for coming to share with us. Amy, I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm really, really, really impressed with the work you're doing at school already. Good for you. It's a big transition to go back to in-person. It's a huge transition. So good work. Keep it up. And will you come back and talk to me another time? Tell me how things are going?
Probably.
All right. I would love that. Thank you so much.
I'm loving this so much.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm
You know
glad.
what, Amy? Amy, you got a great smile. Keep smiling.
Thank
Keep
you.
smiling. Okay. You got a great smile. Stay happy.
Great kid.
We're all cheering for
Great
you.
kid. Awesome. Sheri and Amy, thank you so much for being here. So much
You're
welcome.
appreciated.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. We'll talk soon. Oh my goodness gracious. What do you think, Kev? Oh, Kevin, I can't hear you.
There we go. Well, like you said, man, it's all about stories.
Right?
It's all about stories. You can read about the tech, look at the tech, analyze the tech, but until you put tech on, you don't know what it's going to do. And
You don't know exactly. You know it's going to improve their balance. You know it's going to improve their stability, their range of motion, all these things. But then stories like that.
And that's,
How can we
I'll
not
close
tell
on this
everybody?
because I want to hear from Carla, is that, I was on a conference this weekend, and one of the doctors that spoke, he said, you know what? People may not believe what we're doing, but he goes, the data says this. And our data is the same data that they're using, which is QEEG brain mapping. So folks, for those of you who don't know about QEEG brain mapping, feel free to reach out to invite you to this call. And we're happy to share more about this, because it is absolutely groundbreaking technology that validates what Sheri just shared with her daughter, Amy, that when you have a child that's in a neurological storm, as I call it, it's validated on a brain map. And when you take that child out of the storm, it's validated on a brain map, and they just live out the symptoms. So that's why we hear a different child, we hear a different young lady. Why? Because her neurology has been optimized. And I shared that earlier with the tech. If your neurology is not optimized, you are not optimized. So you're gonna have some inconveniences. So anyways, guess number 2, because we're gonna run over time again. But that's
I
life.
know. It was worth it today. Normally I'm like, let's go. Today I'm like, nope, I want to hear all of this. And now we got Carla. Hello, my dear. There
Hi
you
guys,
are.
how are you?
Good. Thanks for being here. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm so thrilled to have an opportunity to be on tonight.
Yeah, it's great. This is what I love about this is now Carla's going to give us a totally different perspective because it's a challenge, right? When you have a product that helps everybody, like what does that even mean? It helps everybody. So Carla, talk to us about how you found Vox Life and how did this come into your world? How did you get here?
Well, I had a friend of mine who had called me and asked me if I'd ever heard of Vox Life about 4.5 years ago. And I had not. I live in Western Canada, and it had sort of been prevalent in the East at that time. And she told me a little bit about it because I was a fitness instructor at the time, and she thought with balance and stamina, endurance, recovery, that it might be a good thing. My husband and I were going to visit her and her husband in a few weeks' time, and I said, sure, get us a couple pairs and we'll try them out. So when we got to where she was to have our visit, she started telling me all about the technology and everything. And truthfully, at that time, it kind of all went over my head. I didn't really get it because it can be a lot. And so I said, sure, yeah, well, I'll try them. So I'd gone back to my room that night and I thought, well, I'm going to try these socks on. So as soon as I put them on, all of a sudden I could breathe that much better. And why I knew I could breathe that much better is because about 3 months beforehand, I had had surgery for my sinuses. I had been struggling with sinus infections, loss of smell and taste for about 2.5 years. And I was already breathing, like I thought, amazingly well. And so I was so in tune with how I was breathing that it was the first thing that I noticed.
Oh, sorry, Carla, just one second.
That's okay, no problem.
Something is bugging in on the line. I don't know what that is.
I saw Susan's name come up, so I'm not sure if she just got unmuted.
Maybe. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So it kind of freaked me out, to be honest with you, because I put these socks on and all of a sudden I could breathe out much better. And I was in British Columbia and I thought, well, maybe it's the fresh BC air. I don't know. I'm taking these socks off. I'll try them again in the morning and see what happens. So I got up the next morning and I put the socks on and the exact same thing happened. I could feel myself being able to breathe that much better. So off I went to the kitchen and I said to her, what is going on with these socks? Like, tell me more about it. And I was hooked. So I decided I was going to start to wear them when I went home to teach my fitness classes. And I started to notice more endurance and stamina during my class. But the biggest thing was my recovery, because I really get into my workouts and I'd have 2 back-to-back classes. And usually the next morning, my body would gingerly roll out of bed and I'd be like, oh God, what did I do? You know? And I was finding that I was getting up and I was getting moving really easily. And I thought, this is really interesting. And as I started to wear the product more and more, I started to notice other changes in my body too. And one thing for me was with my monthly cycle, I would have lower back pain, leg pain, so much so that it felt like a horse had kicked me. I tried to, use exercise, foods, anything natural that I could to help eliminate the pain and discomfort and be able to function in my day. But there were several days that I would end up taking Advil, regularly during the month. So I wasn't even thinking that this could have any impact on what was going on over there. But the first month, I noticed something was just a little bit different. And then progressively, month after month, it got better and better to the point within 6 months, I was no longer taking any medication at all. My lower back felt like maybe I had just done a few too many sit-ups. I found that I had a lot more chocolate in my house than I used to because it seemed like my food cravings had slowed down a little bit. And also, I won't quote punch on saying that I went from a monster to an angel, but maybe I was a little more angelic than I was before. Yes, exactly. And so as I progressively continued to wear the technology, I added in the sleeve. I'm a big I loved golf. And so I really noticed a difference in my golf game. So much of your game not only is physical that I was getting from the HPT with my balance and my accuracy and distance, it's such a mind game. And I felt that the calmness of mind was there, whereas before I would kind of like come unwound sometimes when, how golf is. If you're a golfer, you might understand that. But I found that I just wasn't reacting that way on the golf course anymore. And it really allowed me the space to get a lot better at my game. Anytime that I'm working, I have far more focus. You can be sure that once a month when I'm not as angelic as I may choose to be, this sleeve is going on as well at that time. And so as the other technology started to be introduced, I started wearing the Neurovax patch. because although my sinuses had improved significantly, I still had seasonal allergies, something I'd suffered with since I was about 11 years old. And I thought, okay, well, let's give this a go. And I was the girl who never left home without the Visine, Kleenex, peppermint oil, and some kind of antihistamine for allergies. Otherwise, I could turn into a sloppy mess in a big hurry somewhere. And when I started wearing the patch, this was two seasons ago, I stopped taking my allergy pills altogether. And so for the last 2 years, I haven't taken a single allergy pill. I wear the patch every day, and it completely transformed my life physically in so many different ways, this technology.
How do you feel about that? Like you've always been an athletic trainer, person, advocate, and now you've taken these medications. Like that's, you're talking about taking Advil out of your system and taking antihistamines out of your system. Like, what do you think about that as a wellness professional?
I didn't enjoy doing that. As I mentioned, I was looking for alternative ways, meditation, yoga, exercise, tapping, pressure points, anything that I could do naturally. But there was a lot of times that just getting through the day was too much. And I couldn't, without taking medication. And so I was very frustrated. I was always really frustrated about the fact that, I wasn't able to find a solution to help me. And my mom would often say to me sometimes, Carla, there's just some things that you may need some help with. So I feel so blessed to have this technology and to feel so much better and to know that I'm not needing to put that medication into my body.
It's a new freedom, right?
Yeah, it's a whole new freedom.
That's awesome. So quality of life differences, what now versus before? I mean, obviously the calmness in your golf game has got to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, your friends probably don't like that so much, but for you, it's great.
Well, it's a great way for people to try the sleeve, because people who knew me in my golf pre-sleeve and my golf after sleeve are, they're sold. It's just been so nice not to have the frustration of pain and discomfort, to be able to live my life the way that I really want to. And to see other people in my family, my friends who have used the technology and how it's impacted them as well has just been life-changing. And there was oftentimes in my previous work where I thought it would be so nice to do something that really felt good and really could help people. And so coming into Vox Life, which is something that I never was looking for, a business as such. I knew nothing about network marketing. I really wasn't what I'd call a salesperson, has just opened up doors to me that I never would have expected.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because one of the things that Jay Dollywell, the inventor, is so passionate about as well is rewarding people financially for helping him to help more people with these products. So you've been doing this for some time. You are successful at sharing the products. So what has that brought to your life? Having that, having the business aspect of it in your life?
Yes, there was something inside of me at the time when I was trying the product and having the results that said to me, there's something here for you. You should do this. I didn't know why. I didn't know what that looked like or how I was going to do it, but I just knew inside that there was something here. Excuse me. And it's opened the doors for me in so many ways, not only financially. I've met so many amazing people through sharing the technology, and it's so humbling to, be the person who is able to deliver this gift to someone who's open to receive it, and to see how really significantly life-changing it can be for so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, what I had going on, although it was an inconvenience, as Kevin liked to say, it was manageable and I could get through my life. But there's some people that I've been able to reach whose life was significantly inconvenienced, and now they have a whole new lease on life. So it's just made my spirit feel so good. I've had opportunities to co-author in a book and to teach and to expand my horizons and really have something that is my own and something that I'm really passionate about. I don't wake up in the morning thinking I have to go to work. I think, oh my God, did I sleep in? Because I have so much to do today and I can't wait to get to it.
I love that. I love that. It's such an important piece, isn't it? Because as you say, I had a similar, it helped me with my sore foot, which to me was a very big deal at the time, but I had no idea what the rewards were going to be like in terms of when you get to help somebody with something when they thought there was no hope, or like in Amy's case, the tool that kind of like set the wheels in motion so that you can use the rest of your tools. And I thought it was interesting actually when you were talking about the calmness in your golf game and being able to then use, because you were calm, you were able to be more efficient in the work that you were doing in your mind and physically as well. And that seems to be a common thread too, doesn't it? That people, when they're calmed down, they're better able to focus on many things. I would say that applies to your business as well.
Absolutely, it does. Your perspective is completely different when you're not in that high state of anxiety, because when you have calmness of mind, you have a whole different perception of what is possible or what you're working on and focusing on. So it's really helped me to, maintain a lower level of stress in my body as well, and my mind. And yeah, things that come into my world, it makes me more creative. I remember the first time I wore the sleeve, and I used to go to trade shows frequently before we weren't doing that for a while. And I would always set my table up exactly the same way. I'm kind of like a routine person, and everything would happen the same way. And that morning I got there and I did it completely different. I set it up faster than I ever had before. And I thought, that's really strange, but it was the first time I had ever worn the sleeve, and you could just see that, I don't know what was going on upstairs there, but it was firing a little bit differently and a little more efficiently. So it's been something that I use all the time. I really notice the difference when I'm looking to be creative, or I'm working on my marketing, or working on a business plan, or writing a chapter in a book. I'm wearing my sleeve because I just feel like my brain is in the best space possible.
Amazing.
Powerful.
Yeah. Carla, imagine, okay, there's people here, some have never heard of this before. They're hearing about it for the first time. And the golfers are all like, where do I get my sleeve? We get it. The person that invited you can help you with that. But then there's going to be also, a lot of times, we have customers that come and then they're having that same kind of feeling that you had, that I had, that lots of people have, that are like, there's something here for me. Like there's a reason that I ended up here learning about this now at this point in my life, when the opportunity knocks, kind of thing. What would you say to those people? They're thinking, could I do this? I don't even know what network marketing is. Is this something for me? I don't know. What advice would you give to them?
I would say absolutely it is. The best part about this is that there is such an incredible community of support. The network marketing industry in of its own is one of the best spaces I've ever worked in. So there are the tools out there. It is just your willingness to learn, grow, and evolve, and to share. So absolutely, if you're thinking about doing it, I mean, it's a minimal financial investment, and I feel like I'm the best version of myself I've ever been as a result of being in network marketing, being with Vox Life, and using this technology.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carla, for coming tonight to share with us. We appreciate your perspective very much.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, we'll talk again very soon. Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Cheers. Well, Kevin.
Yes.
Man, I love doing this.
It's interesting when Carla was sharing, when I look at, when she talked about focus and energy and golf and all this stuff, right? And I'm going, when we get up in the day and we're focused on something, if we're more efficient, think of it as a car. If you're burning fuel and your tires are low on air pressure and you're getting lousy gas mileage and you're trying to get through the day, and all of a sudden you can add something that makes your body run more efficiently, so you get the biggest bang for your buck in the course of your 18-hour day or 17 before you go to sleep, but then we can still help you when you sleep, then why not be like Carla was sharing those points and what Amy's gone through and what Sheri's seen, and you change a family, you change a wife, you change a husband, you change a business, you change all these things of being more efficient and more working better. It's like a tool, right? It's like a cell phone. Cell phone is a tool. If you don't know how to use it, it can really capitalize on your time, and the bodies is what we got to work with every day. We get out of bed in the morning, I need this body to work. I got things that got to get done. And when it's not, like Carla, like imagine having, every time you go out on a road trip, I can see Carla, so I got my Kleenex, Do I got my Visine? Do I got my antihistamines? Do I got this? Why? Because if it goes, man, and I don't have that, I'm like, I'm a hot mess. And it's like, oh my gosh. And going, but that's how people start to think. I got to bring all this stuff with me. And now it's like, I don't need that stuff anymore because I'm good. I'm in a way better place. And I'm going, that's a powerful story that you're moving forward in your wellness journey, which we are all on, which everybody should be on. Whether you're on this call or not, you should always be trying, how can I make my body work better? And that's what we, Carol's going, I got my clinics. Yeah, we need them at events because we get those Amy moments, like monster and angel. And then you get an angel and everybody gets emotional because you just saved the family. That's the heart side of this. You saved a family because we have those conversations. So, those emotional moments will always be part of it. And that's the sharing side of this team. It's the sharing side of this business. Share stories, touches people's hearts, and they go, I need some of this. I need some of this joy, man, because I don't have that in my life right now. Great. We got lots of room on this team. But you won't know. You won't know. Yeah, you won't know until you wear it, man. Until you wear it. Then you're an official member because now you had an experience. I took 5 shots off my golf game. Yeah, she's a happy golfer. I didn't get that phone call from school today. Oh my gosh, a miracle happened. It's going to happen again tomorrow and the next day. Those are powerful moments that just change your life forever. So,
and you know what I think with that gives you extra bandwidth too. If you start to look back and think about that, like for Sheri not having to answer the phone, go through the emotional, what's happening, and then go and get her daughter and then help her daughter to come back to being an angel again. And like that whole, taking that chunk out, the bandwidth that gives her back to do whatever she wants to with, having that bandwidth back is extraordinary.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
All good.
Friends, please get back to the person who invited you here. You can see why we're so excited. If you want to dive into the science, the person who invited you could certainly lead you to all the different studies and things that have been done. Personally, all I needed to hear, like Carla said, most of what was being told to me at the beginning was going right over my head. All I wanted to know was, would it help me with the things that I had going on? And the answer was, we don't know, because nobody knows what's going on inside, right? What we know for sure is this will put you in your best position to work on your wellness. For sure, your balance will increase. For sure, your range of motion will increase. For sure, your stability will increase. All of your autonomic functions will go to your optimum. What your body does with that, you'll tell us. We hope you'll come back and really tell us because we want to help more people. All of us at Vox Life are on a mission to help 1 billion people together. That's why you've been invited here to learn about it. When you're ready to try it, please get yourself enough to wear it 24/7. If you wear it on Tuesday and every other Friday, you won't have a clue what we're talking about. You won't feel the impact. Yes, in those moments, you'll have the benefits, but you won't feel the long-term impact. I've been wearing this every day for 4.5 years, 24/7. And my laundry list is huge of things that I could tell you have improved about my overall health and wellness. So get enough to wear it. Some people that's 3 pairs of socks. Some people it's 10. It doesn't matter however many it is. It's definitely more than 2. However many it is, they're covered by a 30-day money-back guarantee. And I want you to understand that money-back guarantee is not, will this work for you or not? It will work for you. It works for everybody. That's clinically proven. The money-back guarantee is for your peace of mind because we understand what we're saying is extraordinary. And Jay does not want you to feel stressed about trying this. He wants you to be relaxed and know that if for any reason you decide that you don't want to keep the products at the 30-day mark, you can return them and have your money back. He doesn't want them sitting in your drawer and you're not using them. That doesn't serve his mission at all. So give it a try. The person who invited you has access to all the different products and the information you're looking for. We appreciate you being here. Amy, Sheri, Carla, thank you, thank you, thank you. Kevin, it's always a pleasure. And we'll see everybody in 2 weeks with some more stories. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Night.